मेरे हाथों में नौ नौ चूड़ियां हैं। छन छन चूड़ियां, छन छन चूड़ियां छनक गई। खन के लौंग मारे लश्कारे, हम होली चूड़ियां बोले कंगना।
How beautiful are these, isn't it? Excuse me, I'm talking about these bangles. Yes, these soundtracks are too commendable. You know, Bollywood songs, especially with jewelry like bangles, earrings, and all, are used in the lyrics that enrich the melody and the rhythm of the films. Bangles are one of the most important ornaments that an Indian woman wears. For married women, bangles hold a special significance as they are a sign of the Suhag. Bangles have always been an inseparable part of Indian culture. But the story behind making bangles are quite different from the reality. At the moment, boys must be thinking that today's lesson is nothing to do with the boys. Well, you are wrong then. I am sure you all have heard this proverbs. It says, behind every successful man there is a woman. But here in this lesson it's just the opposite. Behind all the beautiful and colorful bangles there is a hard working man. Hello friends, Yasmin here from My Education My Power, and today I'll be taking you in the world where bangles are made. From the chapter Lord Spring Part 2, I Want to Drive a Car, from the book Flamingo Class 12. You can get the link of Part 1 of Lord Spring from the description box down there. As we have already discussed about the author Anish Junk in the previous video, so let's get into the second part of this chapter, I Want to Drive a Car. The writer met a boy named Mukesh who aspired to become a motor mechanic. She asked him if he knew anything about cars. The boy was confident and replied that he would learn to drive a car. His dream was far away from reality, and although the boy was confident, he would succumb to the societal pressures. He lived in Firozabad, which was famous for glass bangles. She tells us that Firozabad was the main town of India for the glass blowing industry. The families had been involved in working at furnaces, welding glasses, and making bangles for generations. They made so many bangles that it seemed that they made bangles for all the women of the world. Mukesh's family was also involved in the professions of glass bangle making. They were not aware of the law. They did not know that it was unlawful to force children to work in such glass furnaces. The writer felt that if the law would come into force, they would rescue almost 20,000 children from these inhuman places where they were forced to work. They often ended up losing their eyesight also. Mukesh was very happy as he took the writer to his home. He felt proud as he informed her that the house was being renovated. They walked down the streets which were full of garbages and gave foul smell. The streets were lined with slums which were unsteady. The condition of the houses were worst. They reminded the writer of the prehistoric man who lived just like an animal. Mukesh stopped in front of one such door, hit it hard with his foot and pushed it open. The house of Mukesh was a small hut. In the house there was a thin young woman cooking the evening meal for the family, who was the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Although she was not much older than Mukesh, she took care of three men, her husband, Mukesh, and their father. As Mukesh's father entered the house, the daughter-in-law hid behind the wall and covered her face behind a veil. It was a tradition for the daughter-in-laws to hide their face in the presence of the older male members of the family. Mukesh's brother was a poor bangle maker. He had worked hard all his life, first as a tailor, then as a bangle maker. He was still not able to either renovate the house or send his sons to school. He had just managed to teach him the skill of making bangles. Mukesh's grandmother justified her son by saying that he had no other choice but to make bangles, as it had been their family profession. Her husband becomes blind due to the dust from polishing the glass bangles. They were born in a particular caste which had to follow the profession of bangle making. All their life they had just seen these glass bangles everywhere, even in the streets of the town. They were huge spiral bunches of bangles in different colors like rainbow. And men were pushed to move door to door in all the streets to sell these bangles. The writer describes the environment where these bangle makers work for small dark huts. The children would sit next to them to help them making bangles. As they spent a lot of time in the dark, their eyes would not adapt to the bright sunlight. Many of them lost their eyesight before reaching adulthood. There was a young girl named Savita who wore a faded pink colored dress. She was sitting with an elderly woman and they were joining pieces of glass to make bangles. Her hands moved like a machine. The writer wondered if Savita knew that bangles were sacred and a good omen for women's wifehood. She thought that Savita would realize this when she would become a bride. That day she would cover her head with a red colored veil, color her hands with henna, and wear red colored bangles on her wrist. The elderly woman sitting next to Savita also became a bride many years ago. She was still wearing the glass bangles but had lost her eyesight now. The elderly woman complained that they are so poor due to this she had not eaten even a full meal in her entire life. The woman's husband has a flowing beard. He says that he does not know anything but making bangles. All that he has been able to accomplish is to make a house for his family to live in. The writer wonders that probably the old man has achieved something which many other people have not been able to achieve. This is a very common problem of every people like him. They did not know anything else other than bangle making and it did not even provide them enough to eat. With the passing time, there was no improvement in their condition as they had been doing hard work for countless number of years. They did not have any ability to do something else or to dream of it. The writer suggests them to form a cooperative. She talked to a group of young men to get out of these clutches of the cruel middlemen who had trapped their elders. The men said that if they dared to do something like that, they would be dragged and beaten up by the police and sent to jail. Their acts would be termed to be unlawful. The writer felt that as they had no leader, they could not even think of doing things differently. They all were so tired to take such action. The men complained that it was a continuous process. Their poor condition led to lack of concern for their problems. The writer envisioned that there were two separate worlds. One was of such families who were stuck in poverty and the pressure of doing the traditional professions according to the caste in which they were born. The other world is a never-ending cycle of moneylenders, middlemen, policemen, law keepers, government officials, and politicians. Both of these worlds had forced the young boys to follow the family traditions. The young boys get into the profession and became a part of the vicious cycle even before they realize it. If they did anything else, it meant that they were challenging these two worlds. The boys had not been reared up to be bold, so that they could dare to go against the system. The writer was happy to sense that Mukesh had the spark in him. He repeated that he would be a motor mechanic. He wanted to go to the garage and learn the job. The writer asked that as the garage was at a distance from his home, Mukesh insisted that he would walk up to it. She asked him if he dreamt of flying planes. The boy became silent and refused. He did not know about them, as he did not know about planes. Not many planes flew over Firozabad. As he had only seen cars moving around in Firozabad, his dreams were restricted up to them.
ये देश है तुम्हारा, नेता तुम्ही हो कल के, इंसाफ की डगर पे बच्चों दिखाओ चल के, ये देश है तुम्हारा, नेता तुम्ही हो कल के.
Let's have the summary. The second part is about the life of Mukesh, who comes from the family of bangle makers. Firozabad is quite popular for its glass blowing industry. A staggering 20,000 children are a part of this business, and any law that forbids child labor is brutally ignored here. Also, the working environment and the living conditions are pathetic. Children live in dingy cells and work around hot furnaces that make them blind when they enter adulthood. Since they are weighed down by debt, they cannot even think or find any other way to escape this trap. The politicians, policemen, middlemen, and bureaucrats obstruct their way of progress. Most women in such families think that this is their fate and just follow the tradition. But Mukesh is very different from the rest of the folks there. He has dreams of becoming a motor mechanic. The garage is quite far from his house, but he shall walk. So friends, this is all for today. I'll see you again with another lesson, and get the link of the first part of this lesson from the description box. Till then, take a very good care of yourself. Bye for now.